So good afternoon, YouTube. We're sitting out here on a rainy afternoon working on the 97 Jeep TJ project, and today we're going to attempt to install the Crown Automotive OEM full exhaust system for the 97 to 99 Jeep TJs. So stand by and we'll get this started. So you may be wondering, why are we going to replace this full exhaust system? If you take a look here, this is a 97 Jeep TJ that we've recently acquired, and it has been sitting up for quite some time. Not only is the entire exhaust system rusted, but I also think we're having some problems with the catalytic converters and the oxygen sensors, and we are going to change both of those out if everything goes as planned. So if you look close right here, you can actually see the hanger assembly for the rear tailpipe. Our new system does have part of this welded in place, and we're going to be replacing this rubber piece right here. There's actually two attachment points like this in the system, one here and one right up there. I'm not quite sure if you can see that or not, but we're going to change both those out. If you're going to retain these, you need to be careful you don't damage them when you take them off, but we're really not that concerned about damaging these, so we'll probably cut these off. Also, once we get up to the catalytic converter, you'll see an attachment point there where a rod slides into a little isolator bushing as well. So here is the second hanger we referenced earlier that we'll be replacing. Again, you want to try to protect those as much as possible if you're not replacing them. We have sprayed these down with some penetrating oil to attempt to slide them off before we have to cut them, but we're going to take a look at them and see what we can do. Just for reference, the muffler is back this way. This is your muffler, and the back of the vehicle is in the opposite direction. So this is the transfer case skid area underneath it, and we're just trying to show you here that third attachment point for the catalytic converter. Sorry for the shaky hands here, kind of an awkward position to get into. And this is facing the rear of the vehicle. Here you can see the catalytic converter, as well as that mounting point that we just discussed right here. Again, sorry for the shaky video. And here you can see the connection for the exhaust pipe to our manifold or downpipe here, as well as the oxygen sensor. Other than the kit, we're going to need some basic tools and supplies. We're going to need a good socket set, maybe a torque wrench, a couple of screwdrivers, definitely safety glasses and gloves. Always remember, safety should be your primary concern when you're working with any kind of motor vehicle project. In addition to what we've already discussed, we also made a few extra purchases for our application. Our 97 TJ 4-liter only has 2 oxygen sensors, so we've made a decision to replace them both. Unfortunately, the automotive store only had one today, so we've got one purchased here, and we've got one on back order. Also, to complete our installation, we went ahead and ordered new exhaust hanger isolators because ours are looking rough for wear. Anti-seize copper lubricant compound for installing those oxygen sensors, so if we ever have to take them out again, they will not lock themselves in place. Some dielectric grease for the electrical connections for the O2 sensors to keep them nice and safe and waterproof and dustproof. And in addition to that, we actually purchased this little socket that's designed specifically for removing and installing oxygen sensors to make our life a little bit easier. Now, many of you have noticed that our vehicle actually has a 2.5-inch suspension lift already installed. If you are working on your own vehicle, you may find that you have to lift the vehicle and support the vehicle's weight on jack stands. We strongly encourage you to use 2 people or more to assist you with this endeavor. Make sure your vehicle is parked on a flat, level surface for safety purposes, and ensure that you use the appropriate jack using the appropriate lift points for your vehicle, and ensure that you use the appropriately sized jack stands to support the weight of your vehicle for safety purposes. Anytime you should find yourself underneath the vehicle, you want to make sure that weight is completely supported. Additionally, we would highly recommend that you wear safety glasses and appropriate gloves. This installation is pretty straightforward, but you could still find some items that are going to tend to want to fall and work their way into your eyes, such as dirt or rust in our particular scenario here, as well as sharp edges that could cut you. Okay, so we're going to unhook the Upstream oxygen sensor. This is the connector right here, and what you'll have to do is lift this tab and pull towards the firewall. So I'm going to get in here, lift the tab, and just kind of work it loose, just like that. Okay, so we're going to use a 14mm socket and take these two nuts off right here. Now, we're not taking off the Upstream O2 sensor at this time because we're replacing it with a brand new one, so I've just unhooked it and pulled the connector down. But we're going to get on these two right here and work on getting them off. Now, you do have kind of some cramped quarters here to work with, so good. So here we're just working the rubber isolators off of our hangers with a screwdriver, and again we're going to replace these, so we're not really worried about the condition of them right now. Okay, so we just got the second rubber isolator off with the exhaust system here, and I tried a different method here. I actually used channel locks and pinched, just using this one for an example, on the tip of the metal guide and on the back of the rubber isolator, and just kind of press that way, and it popped right off. So definitely a good method there. But now we have both of those rubber isolators removed, so we can move back up to the front. Okay, kind of hard to see in here, but once we get those nuts off and we start working all of our isolators loose at the tail end, this becomes to the point it's loose and will rotate, and you may find that you kind of have to get a screwdriver and work against these couplings here to get them off, but it will get to a point that they will come apart. You just kind of have to get just like that. So there we go with that. Okay, so here is the rear or downstream oxygen sensor and its connector. For our purposes, we're just going to unplug the connector because we've got new sensors that we're going to put in when we do our install. Okay, so now we're going to unhook the electronic connector for the O2 sensor in the rear, the downstream sensor. There's a little tab here that we have to pull, and then it should work loose. Just kind of work with it. There we go. Okay, got it right there.